Hi, we're going to have a little look at content aware, how to use it and how to use it at speed. There's a very common noise in my office where it's like click, 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 click. And you know that one of our editors is content awareing non-stop because we do have a technique that lets us do it very, very, very fast. And especially when we've got things like patch tools and whatever, we opt out of using healing brush, spot healing brush. We find that there's more computer glitches when we use those. So the best thing that we can use is the patch tool, because on the patch tool, whatever we select and wherever we put it is what's going to happen. That's obviously not an edit you'd want to do. But using the patch tool, you can also use content aware alongside it very, very quickly. So it works well for us. This is a little bit about that. So content aware is an Adobe feature where it will help you remove, replace, change an object. It will use AI to figure out what you want to do. Perfect for blemishes, for hairs, for anything that's going to be a bit more of a difficult edit, especially anything that overlaps something else. For example, if you have a hair overlapping a cheek, or something like that, then it's not going to be easy to patch tool because you're going to get smudged. So content aware is really, really good for that. Now, this is the weirdest image I could have possibly picked to show you this effect. However, I have done it for good reason. Content aware is good for removing things. I thought something with good contrast where you can see what I'm doing would work really well. So we're going to look at removing some of his freckles. Why would we do that? They are beautiful and we absolutely love freckles. It is purely an exercise to understand the tool rather than actually creating a desirable image from this technique. So first thing, when you've got the patch tool, as I just showed, you can select an area and it will replace with wherever you drag. You can also switch that round and do it the other way around and stick an area and then move it. You can do it however you want to. I'm going to delete that because that just gets weirder and weirder. I use it on source. That works for me. If I zoom in here and was going to a freckle, for example, I could select these freckles here, move it to a similar area, and it will very nicely remove everything. However, by doing the circle, by moving around and releasing, there's a lot of wrist movement, a lot going on, and you can easily lock your wrist up quite quickly using this technique. So content aware comes in. What we do is we select the area we want to remove or move or whatever. And we're going to hit the delete button on our keyboard. By hitting delete, it will come up with the fill option. Now you can see I've already got content aware selected, but you've probably got one that says foreground color or whatever. Hit the drop down menu, go to content aware, and we're going to click OK. Once you've done that once, it should be really easy because after that, you just do your selection, hit delete, and hit enter. And that's the noise that becomes very repetitive in our office, because when you have speed, you can be doing this. Oh, there we go. You can be doing this really quickly and remove a large area of things and still be actually paying attention to making sure you're not getting any weird patches. It's not creating an odd edit within it. And it doesn't take too long. Especially helpful that delete and enter is right next to each other, especially on my keyboard. I assume it's the same for most of you guys, but my hands aren't having to do very much at all. I don't know if you can actually hear the clicky sound on the keyboard, but if you can, you'll hear what we hear in our office all the time. Just constantly, we know that we're content awareing when that's the situation. For us, it's mostly used for rogue hairs around the head, for any kind of dust bits on the background. A lot in our dog edits, because dog hair can get everywhere and we want to take it off the floor. This can be a really good technique for that. But if I zoom out now, suddenly we have a freckleless forehead. That's quite hard to say. So I am not going to continue and do the whole face. That is going to drive me absolutely loopy. But you can see how quickly we could use this. Even from a distance, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of repetition, but I can quite simply remove all these freckles in part. And he has a lot of freckles there. So I could keep going. All I'd need to do is keep working small and getting bigger and bigger with my groups as I go. And it would eventually remove every single one of those freckles. Absolute insanity why you'd want to do that. But can be done. So that's content aware. That's how we use it so fast and so quickly, with no real issues. It's quite simple. I always say if AI is doing anything, if you're going to cheat it, check it. And that just means make sure that it's not doing some weird glitches, because it is completely capable of deciding that you actually wanted that to have the texture down there and you're not being able to tell as much until you zoom in. So make sure it's doing what you want. But it's a really good tool. It's really useful and I use it all the time. So thanks for joining me and I will see you next time.